Hey there, welcome back. More news from the PTS today. Now, this goes back to a subject that we touched earlier a few weeks ago about the weapons drops, the non-legendary weapon drop from enemies. Now, we're going to go through this a little bit and I'm going to show you a little footage and I'm going to show you guys all the new junk buffs that we just got with this update. Yes, they have updated the junk and we are getting a lot more from enemy drops. Well, let's go through this update. Updated loot for weapons using creatures, raiders, blood eagles, cultists, mole miners, super mutants, scourge, and laws. 20% chance to drop the player version of which weapon the enemy had equipped. When not dropping a weapon, junk items will be dropped instead. This scales with the level up to level 50. Dev note, level scaling on drop junk was also in the prior PTS update, but we wanted to mention it here for clarity. Increased amount of steel that can be dropped, added ballistic fiber, which was rare, and rubber to the junk list. The current list of possible scrap items that these junk items can yield is as following: adhesive, aluminum, antiseptic, asbestos, ballistic fiber, bone, cloth, copper, cork, crystal, fiber optic, fiberglass, gear, glass, gold, lead, leather, oil, plastic, rubber, screws, silver, spring, steel, wood. Made some adjustments to the count of non-steel junk items. Different kind of junk items will lean towards dropping from certain creature types: raiders, cultists, blood eagles, super mutants, etc. Dev note, this is WIP and will probably be further adjusted later. When not dropping a weapon, caps are also dropped. This scales up with level up to level 50. Enemies will also drop the player version of whichever grenade they had equipped. Dev note, this occurs independently of whether the enemy drops a weapon or junk. Address an issue where raiders wouldn't drop stim packs and pre-war money. Address an issue where enemies, particularly Scorched and Raiders, were restricted to dropping a lower count of items than expected. Dev note, this change was in a prior PTS update. Now here's where we're going to get all the junk update. And this is where I'm going to show you side by side for the most part. There's a few items I couldn't find or I had to substitute. You'll see. Let's get to it. So adjusted the scrap yield for the following items. Adjusted wrench. Went from 1 gear 2 steel to 1 gear 3 steel. Alarm clock. Now, a lot of these only got a few pieces of junk. Ball peen hammer. It's got 2 wood, 3 steel now. Baseball glove. Has 3 leather and cloth. Bone cutter. 3 plastic, 2 gear, 2 copper now. Bone saw. 2 rubber, 3 steel. Broken light bulb I couldn't find. Broom. Went from 1 wood, 1 plastic to 3 wood, 1 plastic. Cafeteria tray went to 3 plastics. The cake pan went from 3 aluminum to 4 aluminum. The colander went from 1 piece of steel to 2 pieces of steel. The combination wrench went from 1 steel 2 lead to 2 lead 2 steel. The cooking pan went from 1 copper 2 steel to 1 copper 3 steel. Dinner plate went from 1 steel to 3 steel. Empty blood pack went from 1 plastic to 2 plastic. Empty coolant went from 1 plastic to 2 plastic. Enameled bucket went from 1 steel 1 plastic to 3 steel 1 plastic. The fishing rod, which got fiberglass and steel added to it with a few more pieces of wood. Gear went from 1 steel 2 gears to 2 steels 2 gear. Giddy up buttercup back leg, it's got 2 steels 2 gears 2 springs now. The ladle went from 1 steel to 2 steel. Left foot bone went from 2 bone to 3 bone. Left hand bone went from 1 bone to 2 bone. Microscope, which got a buff of the crystal, glass, and steel. Military ammo bag, which got steel and cloth added to it, and 1 more ballistic fiber. Plunger went to 2 rubber 2 wood. The restored desk fan, which got a bump to 3 screws. Right foot bone went from 2 bone to 3 bone. Right hand bone went from 1 bone to 2 bone. Rusty canister from 1 copper 1 steel to 1 copper 2 steel. The skull went from 3 bone to 5 bones. Surgical tray, 1 aluminum 1 rubber to 2 aluminum 1 rubber. Test tube rack, 2 wood to 3 wood. Used oil can, steel oil to 3 steel and 1 oil. The wrench, 1 steel to 3 steel. Now that was a pretty decent buff, I would have to say. When I went around, I killed a lot, and I looted the bodies. I actually went up and looted every single body, like you're seeing in this video. And I'll tell you, I got a lot of junk. And I didn't get a lot of weapons dropping. It was random, like they said 20%, but I feel like it was way less than 20%. I feel like it was more 5%. And then when I did get an enemy to have 1 weapon drop, I'd get 2 enemies in a row to drop. Then I wouldn't get none to drop after that for a while. Now you see I've killed a different type of enemy over here by this cultist area. And all these are carrying caps, a bunch of junk, ammo, things like that. And I've killed quite a few. Look at all this stuff that's left. Probably from 5. I think that was about 5 cultists that was left. If maybe that, maybe 3. So I'm telling you, the junk will be really great when it's dropping. So that's going to help the low levels out. So if you're starting out, that's great. And you're still getting weapons. It's just not as many like you were. But that's all I have for you. I really do appreciate you guys following along. And like always, I save this to the end to help my algorithm. And if you like my channel, if you like my content, please subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to like and share. And don't forget to turn the notification on so you never miss a video. Alright guys, you take it easy. We'll see you later.